Hello, everyone. Lean here. I am a part of DAIA's team, and I'm here to represent them for the webinars and events team. And I'll gladly be moderating today with Alteryx, with Abboud and Lovish, who I'll introduce shortly after introducing DAIA. So thank you for attending. And let's start, Laura, with the first slide. So we'll go over who we are today. We'll introduce DAIA and what our mission and vision are. We are our purpose and drive as well. And then we'll introduce a small idea that we have in a sort of series called DAIA Talks. Then we'll let Alteryx take the floor to introduce their ADAPT program, and then we'll have a Q&A session. So who are we? As the Data and AI Association, we represent everyone in the community who either wants to learn and develop in the data and AI space or is a practitioner and expert in the space, who is willing to provide information, knowledge, and share that knowledge with the community who's willing to learn. So we provide this open platform for aspiring and veteran professionals in the field. And our aim is to create this library of knowledge and learning, to create a job portal and provide opportunities and a network for people who are interested in data and AI. And also, we are working on collaboration blogs where we can have some of our work presented, some ideas, and some thoughts on the topics of data and AI. So our services, of course, are offered at no cost. This is voluntary from all the founders and the team. And what we want to do is build this community to have a very strong community. As you all most probably know, there is no big association for data AI, specifically in the Middle East and Africa. So this is our purpose. And here below is our team. We have Abdullah and Muhannad, who are the key founders of DAIA, along with Mark and Kareem. And then we have Sarah from Uber, me from KPMG, Laura here from Cardiff, and we have Celine from Google, who is also helping us run some events. So what we stand for. So as I said, DAIA is an open association. So we accept anyone and everyone who is willing to learn and wants to share information and knowledge about data and AI. And this platform, we hope to be as inclusive as possible. And of course, we are focusing on this region because that's where we see that our services or our kind of community is missing, and that's where we need the collaboration to happen. If we can go to the next slide, yes. So our offerings we have captured in 4 streams. One is the L&D, L&D form of it, which is the sharing of knowledge and learning, etc., and curating this content that can be shared across. Then we have the networking and collaboration area, which is more of connecting people to the right people that can get them to where they aspire to be within the data and AI space. Then we have the marketing and business development stream, which is more focused on helping companies within the space advertise their products and services or provide an idea to the community about what those services, what problems those services can solve. And Alteryx here is a perfect example of that, because what we want to do is help people understand how useful this platform is, how they can take advantage of it, and how it can maybe expedite some of the routine tasks that they do every day that this software can do in a much faster and more efficient way. So our 4th stream here is a job portal. So what we want to develop is something where we can connect employers with candidates and professionals in the field and be able to seamlessly connect the two. Next, Laura. Yeah. So as a part of more like expanding our community, we have developed DAIA Talks. Now, DAIA Talks is specifically focused at creating a series of talks and events and webinars that can directly address the needs of our community. So we've had one before related to a talk about a deep dive into data science, where we had 2 speakers in the field. And today is another DAIA talk where we are focused on a certain software and how we can help people understand what it's used for. So DAIA Talks is basically just focused at what the community needs, what we heard from you, what your asks are on social media, on the polls at the end of webinars, etc., and then we make them available to you through this initiative. So without further ado, we are going to introduce our speakers. We have Abdullah here. Sorry, not Abdullah, Sharif. We have Abboud here. Abboud is the VP of Alteryx. He heads up the Middle East and Africa business. He joined Alteryx in 2014 to develop the markets outside the UK and lead their expansion in France, Germany, and 2 other regions. He's been involved in many projects within enterprise and SMB type of businesses and self-service BI implementation across various sectors. So we are excited to learn from his expertise and knowledge. Abboud holds an MBA from Cranfield School of Management and has a passion for solving business problems and innovative new technologies. And then we have Lovish here, who will join Abboud, and he also is at Alteryx, a consultant at Alteryx. He is a skilled professional with a total of 7 years of experience, having worked at PwC and EY. And he has developed his expertise with regard to implementing solutions in data analytics, risk modeling, and process automation related problems. So without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Alteryx. So Abboud, feel free to begin to introduce yourself, Alteryx, and the ADAPT program, and why we're here today.
Great, thank you. Appreciate the intro. And just to add, obviously, Lovish is the smarter version of me. Simple as that. So thank you, Lovish, for joining.
No such thing.
So first of all, I appreciate the community for inviting me to present today. This is obviously a topic I'm very passionate about. I think I've met some of you in person, some of you over the calls over the last couple of weeks. So really excited to see how DAIA is going to develop in the region. And we're thankful at Alteryx for the opportunity to present and also be a partner of yours in your mission. What I have prepared today is just a quick overview. It's not about Alteryx, more about the market and what we're seeing as challenges and where we can help. I'll talk about the ADAPT program. I think this is dear to my heart because it touches on how we're helping communities as part of our Alteryx for Good program. And then Lovish is going to do a bit of his usual magic when it comes to Alteryx and data and building models. So just to give the community a perspective on the platform. I'm just going to start sharing my screen and let me know when you can see it, please. So I'll make sure that everything is working fine. It's all good?
Yes, all good.
Brilliant. So I think quite often we forget the most important element when it comes to analytics, which is the people. Analytics and data science in AI is not just about the machines or machine learning or models, but the people behind that. And in fact, I was speaking with the CDO earlier today, one of the insurance companies here in the region. He's saying the biggest problem for them is they cannot hire enough data scientists, and they tried that last year. They ended up being a bottleneck because he managed to find and recruit 10 data scientists to bring them to Dubai. But then now with COVID and people are unable to recruit and people are unable to relocate, it's becoming difficult. More importantly, if you have a group of people who are just limited to maybe creating the insights for the business, then that creates a bottleneck, and we're seeing that quite a lot. So I wanted to start with this specific quote from Jack Welch, and talks about really that the ability to learn, or the organization specifically ability to learn and to translate that learning to interaction is really the competitive advantage. And learning, we're talking about here not deep learning or machine learning. We're talking here about people and upskilling of the people in the business. And that's why you see, Gartner talks about, over the next 3 to 5 years, you'll see that the or even sooner than that, the output from the citizen data scientists is gonna be way more than the actual core data scientists. And we're seeing that across many of the organizations that we're talking to. They're thinking, okay, we cannot hire enough data scientists, but the demand for insight, the demand for analytics and accelerate analytics is really on the increase, especially with the current circumstances we're living in. So we're seeing organizations are now leaning on their biggest assets, which is their people. It's not about technology. So I can tell you many examples where organizations thought the answer is let's build a data warehouse. So they embarked on a long journey, RFPs. They had the bestest vendors in the world come in and do a big show. And then a year and a half later, still haven't decided either what the platform should be, or maybe there's new technology out there that they haven't considered. And more importantly, people in the business who need the insights is still waiting on that data warehouse, or now we see the data lake. But that, I'm not saying that's not a good strategy. Of course, that's really important. But in parallel, how can you solve the business problems today, and why is it that you're not solving the business problem today? And the answer to that is that what you see in the markets, that there's a huge disalignment between the data, process, and people. What we mean by that, I'll usually summarize it in a very simple statement. It takes too much time, too many people, too many tools to answer a business question with data. So I'll give you an example. I worked once with a retailer, and the chief operating officer calls the head of CRM analytics, and he said, okay, we're deciding on how much money we're going to spend to advertise the new iPhone. Can you give me a complete full view and analysis on when we released the last iPhone? How did we sell, based on which city, based on location, based on which mall, which shop, online versus actual physical shop? Can you give me the spend by customer segment? Can you also give me the actual selling performance by our sales team in the shops on the floor? Which one did really well? What was the discount level in different stores? Where can we actually drive more sales training so the discount is less, so we actually make more margin? And even I was asking things like, okay, we usually bundle the iPhone with other services, other products, and working with the telcos as well, which were most profitable for us. What products do we bundle? Did we run out of stock? Which products? What color? This is a real example. I was in that meeting, and the head of CRM said, it's going to take us about 3 months to do that, because we have to go to the BI team. We have 2 or 3 people that can code and build a data science model, but the people, or the analysts in the CRM team, they're actually they're a mix of marketeers. They understand CRM, they understand customer segmentation and grouping, but they cannot code. So that's why, it takes too much time, too many people, too many different tools. I can give you so many examples. In fact, one of the big banks in South Africa, I was with their head of analytics, and he said, as we are hiring more analysts and more customer insight personnel or associates, he said it takes them 6 or 7 months to upskill. And I asked him why. He said, well, they have to learn 7 different tools, different tools for the ETL, different tools for the geospatial analysis, for the documentation, for, deploying models, and you name it. It's just not scalable. And more importantly, especially right now, it's all about solving the business questions immediately. And that's why I always talk about accelerated and agile analytics, not just machine learning. Machine learning has always been there, but how can you accelerate, how you can make it more agile and transparent? And that's why it's all about aligning, the data, and allowing people in the business, the problem solvers, I would say, to go and tap into any data source that they need, whether internal, external, cloud, on-prem, and be able to actually automate a lot of the manual work that they're stuck in. I was in a call area with a customer, and they say that 80% of their work is manual work. They do the same reports again and again, day by day, week by week, month by month. And it's about, in a way, also they're not even doing any analysis, just reporting. So this model is no longer sustainable. And more importantly, something I really love talking about is how the analytics community, like if you look at this community, it's all, when I looked at the panel as you were doing the intro and DAIA, it's like a mix of, different backgrounds, different industries, but you all want to solve business problems, right? For your businesses, you all want to create the insights, you want to get creative, you want to innovate. So I think about it in a very simple way. How can you innovate if it takes you too many hours just to bring data sets together? Then you're probably going to give up. And I've heard many very smart people, I would say, and problem solvers in the business saying, well, I've given up on trying this. I've given up on trying to bring in weather data to see the impact of weather on how many people would go in a shopping mall or would prefer to sit in a restaurant with an outdoor seating. What's the trends? Because it's not possible. So when it comes to digital transformation and driving successful digital transformation, what we see is that this is where companies are successful. They're aligning data, they're democratizing data and analytics. They're allowing, smart people in the business to upskill themselves, and they can automate manual work and start creating a more added value to the business, solving more complex use cases. So having these key three pillars aligned is what drives a successful digital transformation. And the upskilling of people is really key here. And I'll keep saying it because I'm a true fan of not just it's not about the software, it's that what you can do with it and how would you feel about it, right? Before I joined Alteryx, to be honest, I never had people. I worked for tech companies all over the world, and I never had someone tell me, "Oh, thank you so much. This changed my life," And then when I joined Alteryx, I was doing events. I remember once at an event in Finland, in Helsinki. I've never been there. It was freezing cold, and I was out there. And this the guy jumped in and started doing a demo, helping me after the event. And his name was Artu. I said, Artu, sorry, but who are you? He said, oh, I downloaded the trial a week ago. I loved it so much. I built this predictive model. That was like 5 years ago. And it's like, wow, how can you do it? It's like, yeah, it's so easy to learn. So it's all about, how can you upskill problem solvers in the business so they can get rid of the manual work, they can go and do things they always wanted to do, they can innovate, they can excel, they can actually look good in the business, to be honest. I've seen many organizations or people that go and get promoted because of what they're doing and the work they're doing. And my suggestion and my feedback to the business or anyone I talk to is that you need to have an executive champion. If you don't have an executive champion, there's no point doing what you're doing. Most digital transformation projects really fail because you might have a group of people trying to innovate. They want to change how they do analytics or drive an analytics culture. But if the C-level or the execs in the business and really championing this, pushing this, making it possible, allowing a new innovative environment, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So you need that, and you need to open up analytics to everybody in the business. So again, 2 weeks ago, I was invited on a call to speak CDO, one of the largest retailer and fashion retailer and manufacturer in Europe. And he said, we built an army of data scientists, and then we realized that so many people, like from merchandising to branding to supply chain, even HR, they start coming in with a request, hey, can you give me this report? Can you try this model? And they realized it's not going to work because you need to have folks who understand merchandising to be able to do merchandising analytics. Why would you want to outsource it to a BI team or outsource it to an internal IT team or even an external consultancy? Because let those who understand the business problem solve the business problem. And that's our vision, that's our mission with Alteryx. We believe that analytics should sit in the business and in collaboration with IT. IT, I would say, our view is that IT is a great partner to agile and accelerated analytics because they need to allow the business to do what the business wants in a governed and controlled way. Just to give you a quick overview what the Alteryx APA looks like and what does it stand for. In simple terms, think of it as the Lego building blocks of analytics. So on the left-hand side, you can bring in files, structured, unstructured, any database, any data platform, data lakes, cloud, hybrid, you name it. You can bring in URLs. So I've worked with retailers who actually connect Alteryx to URLs to bring in pricing details of their competitors and the products that they're selling, so they actually see how they're competing, where they're discounting, and how they're doing. So it's pretty much, I would say, any data that you need for analysis you can bring in Alteryx. And as part of the data pipeline, I would say, before you get to the automated machine learning, you need to have the right data, relevant data, and clean data. This is where I call Alteryx the all-in-one platform where you can start working your journey with the data prep and profiling. You can automate it. More importantly, customers tell me that what they love about the process is not a black box solution. And that's really important because what if you move roles? What if you move to another company? Then how would you translate 10,000 lines of code to somebody who doesn't know the code that you've built, right? Or how would you know what's the impact of that specific line of code on the data? Whereas Lovish will show you later, it's all about transparency. It's also about trust. A VP of revenue for one of the airlines we worked with, he's now building models with his analysts himself in Alteryx because he said, Now I can go and sit in a meeting room. We'll open up in a very visual drag and drop, click and run platform. We can do everything and anything because we have the data, we have the abilities, pre-packaged models, and more importantly, you can also do geospatial analysis. And again, you can publish to anything that you want. So from Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense, you can create actual applications in Alteryx that could be accessed from mobile phones, where you drive analytics on demand. And then you can also automate it through API integration. So you can output the model as an API, link it to your email campaigns engine. So we have many customers that use it to automate email campaigns and marketing campaigns to know, for example, Abboud, is he interested in this color versus that color? What is he likely to go? Does he like a holiday in the Maldives, or does he want to go to Lebanon, usually in the summer, to see his parents? You can start building that logic. You can do it very quickly, and you can fully automate it, and you can monitor it as well. Again, this is what we'll jump into the demo later, but it's all about, for me, what's really key is about transparency and in the end-to-end, from the data blending piece to predictive, AutoML, explainable AI, geospatial analysis, all in one place. And I always say the limit is your imagination. I've not yet seen anyone tell me that, well, we cannot do it in Alteryx. I would say if you cannot do it, probably you thought about it maybe in not the right way. For everybody, later I'll send a message and I'll talk about Adapt. The best way to learn is to go and try. I think that's a good ethos to have in life, I would say, regardless whether you want to use Alteryx or something else. As I said before, analytics, our view shouldn't sit with a small group of people. We've seen many use cases from as you see here, from customer analytics to CFO office. I mean, I'll talk a bit more on that. We're seeing a huge uptake recently, especially when COVID kicked in. The CFO office owning and driving digital transformation, automation. The reason for this is everybody's working in Excel. Folks in the finance teams, they're stuck in what we call Excel hell. I'm not saying Excel is bad. It does the job, but Excel is not analytics or an AI platform. So we're seeing also the need for more agile forecasting, capital forecasting, solvency analysis, IFRS 9 reporting. This cannot be done in an agile way. One of the finance leaders in a major bank here told me, we had a report that used to take about 3 days to build. Before COVID, 3 days was too fast. Now, too fast now is too slow, because in 3 days, lots can change in the market. So it's an opportunity for you to go collectively as an organization to go and upskill smart people, be it in sales, marketing, operations, HR, CIO, IT, risk management, supply chain, upskill so you can automate manual work that you absolutely hate. So when you get back to work the day after, you're excited about what you're doing rather than hating what you're doing. And then you can create more insights for the business that can be leveraged by the business. Just to give you, in terms of ROI, right? The ROI is key. Why would you want to embark on an analytics journey or digital transformation journey? And it's all about unlocking the insights. We have so many examples where retailers, multi-billion-dollar retailers, that were able, because of optimizing the product availability across the shelves here in the US, for example, they linked this project to $1.5 billion sales increase by being able to. They had hundreds of thousands of SKUs that they didn't match, right? Different SKUs are written in different formats, in different databases, different states. They couldn't have a complete view of, the actual what they're selling at the shelf, what should they be selling, etc. Just many examples here. Again, for manufacturing companies, we're seeing also one of the big consulting firms, they upskilled 50,000 people across the globe to drive this transformation, not only them, but also for their customers. The opportunities are endless, I would say, when it comes to driving top line improvements, bottom line. More importantly, I was in Luxembourg a couple of years ago, and I met the CFO of one of the big investment firms there. And I asked him, why are you doing what you're doing? He was doing a whole full day on analytics transformation. And he said, we did a survey, employee survey, and it turned out that the analyst community and people within finance and people are responsible for creating the reports and BI reports, KPI reporting, asset performance, regulatory reporting. They're the least excited or engaged and at least happy in a job, right? So it is important because how you feel about what you're doing has a big impact on your output. If you are not upskilling yourself, or if you're a leader on this call, if you're not upskilling and allowing and motivating your team to do more with less and to create the insights and help them get engaged in the business, they're going to leave, right? They're going to leave, and they're going to leave behind you thousands of lines of code nobody could understand. And then, to be honest, whatever they've done is not going to be repeatable and transferable. So it's a waste. Lastly, just wanted to highlight a key thing for us at Alteryx is the community. I invite you to, I'll show you in a bit, I'll share my screen of the website, community.alteryx.com. It's free, you don't need to be a customer, by the way, you can just sign up. Weekly challenges, learning paths, interactive lessons, there's certification, and more importantly, we have the Alteryx Adapt program. So I'm going to actually jump to it right now before I move to Lovish. I'm just going to show you quickly what I'm talking about. So as COVID-19 kicked in, we thought, we got together as a company, we thought, okay, how are we going to help the community, right? People, hundreds of millions across the globe losing their jobs. We have even many of our customers losing their jobs. They're telling us, hey, can we have a license? Then we got together and we thought about, we ought to do something about it. So we partnered with Udacity. What we introduced is the Adapt program as part of our Alteryx for Good program. So what we're talking about here is advancing data analytics potential together. So we're seeing, I think, over 70 countries, hundreds, I don't know if we're close to 100,000, but thousands of people who either lost their job or job at risk. They want to upskill themselves to become a citizen data scientist. So what you see in the project, so if you go to alteryx.com/adapt, you'll be able to apply. And more importantly, as you apply, you'll be directed to the community. And in the community here, we have section for Adapt, and you get, hello?
Sorry. Yes, it's just we're still seeing your PowerPoint presentation. I wasn't sure if you're sharing the other screen.
Ah, okay. Let me share the screen. That's a good point.
Yes.
Thanks, Laura. Here we go. Is that better? So I'll start again. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So you go to the website, you'll find more details on the program. You can apply, it's free. And what's exciting about it, we're doing it in partnership with Udacity. And what you'll get is it's a 3-part course. You'll get introduction to the Adapt program, data fundamentals, certification, and intros to predictive analytics for business nano degree. So by the end of it, you actually get a nano degree for free. I think that's typically costs about $1,500, so we're paying for it. And you'll get a 6-month license of Alteryx Designer. So we'll show you Alteryx Designer in a bit. And also you can get the one-to-one Alteryx Associate support, one of our consultants to help you in this journey. And this is exciting. There's, if you go to the website here, you also see some stories on the community, some videos of non-data people who've gone this and they were able to upskill themselves. Now they're applying for jobs they couldn't apply to before. So it's really exciting to see how we're helping, the job markets today and job seekers, I would say. Just to give you a quick insight into the program as you go in there, it's a very well documented program, different courses. So you can start, for example, section 1, problem solving with advanced analytics. Then you look into data prep, data wrangling, how you look at classifying predictive models, A/B testing, time series forecasting, segmentation and clustering. And there's a lot of pre-packaged content here. And again, you'll be invited to sign up to the community. So you'll be part of other adapters, I would say, people who are part of this journey to upskill, reskill, and modernize their skill sets so they can go and hopefully find jobs and secure jobs for the future. Because think about it, I was reading on the World Economic Forum about the biggest trend, and people fear AI, that AI is going to get rid of jobs. Yes, it's going to automate jobs, but it's not going to automate all jobs, right? It's going to automate manual, mundane work, but it's an opportunity. We're seeing they predict that the job creation is going to outweigh way more the job losses, because this is an opportunity to create new type of jobs, new type of skill set in the business that's so required right now. I can't I'll bet money on if you tell me that if somebody can jump on the call and tell me it's so easy to hire data scientists or a data science team. One of the biggest companies here in the Middle East, they're struggling to even attract that talent because it's a very limited resource. And also, if let's say you're a retailer, you bring in somebody that never works in retail, but great, they're data scientists, but how are they gonna advise on what's right for the business? So this is where we believe that analytics should sit in the business. It's about citizen data scientists, about upskilling in collaboration with the IT. Let the solutionists, the problem solvers, smart people in the business solve business problems with data very quickly without really needing to write a single line of code. But as for me, I don't know if you probably open up for questions later. Wanted to invite Lovish. Lovish, I love Lovish, so that's why we call him Lovish. His name is Lovish. You cannot but love Lovish. Lovish is great, and customers love Lovish because before he joined us, he spent a couple of years at PwC, did amazing things in Alteryx. And he was himself a user. He used different tools. So Lovish, I invite you. Let me make you a presenter. I think I need to do it myself.
I'll just share my screen. And I would like to start on that note that yes, I worked with Alteryx. Like I was a coder before with R, SAS, and all SQL and some of the ERP implementers also. But when I found Alteryx, it was 8 years back, 2012, when I was in EY and working on a project in Africa. So there I found about Alteryx, and since then have been an Alteryx user. And during my time in PwC and consulting, I have used it a lot. So with the love of the product, I'm here. And why I love it, I want to demonstrate that today. How? The screen that you see in front of you, that's the Alteryx design. Today, if you have to think on any of the analytics and solving the business problem, the first roadblock you have is to learn the coding. Everybody goes through Python, R, or SAS codings and things like that. But that is not the first step. Ideally, when you go into the loop of coding, you are just in the loop. Why? Because you are learning, trying the code, testing the code, and then working. And by the time you are result, your mind has just been fixed to remove the code, but not to analyze the result. And this is the same problem with Excel, that we are gathered so much in preparing the data that by the time we move to analytics, the time is run out and we have to submit the reports. Now, how Alteryx helps here is the spectrum is like the white space that you see is a canvas. Why a canvas? Because like on a canvas, you can paint any shape and color. On Alteryx, you can have any data logic built on it, embedded on it. If you have a logic, step by step, you can work on it. And how Alteryx takes you out of that loop is with the building blocks, the tools that we have. And each of them is in a color-coded way. Like during a match, you can just see a player, you can see the jersey, which team it is, and see the number, and you can identify that, yes, this is the characteristics. Similarly, in Alteryx, things are color-coded. The in-out tool in green, inputting the data, outputting, preparing the data, filters, sorting, formula, all of that in blue, joining multiple data sources. Today, if you need to join two files, you don't need to have both of them in Excel, do a VLOOKUP and stuff like that. You can connect to 100 plus data sources directly with the connector without any limit of the records in format they are, without changing the gears. And then you want to pivot, summarize, all those things are here, and then report also, reporting on graphical way, emails, PDF, Excel, presentations. You can get all of this report. This way, your first step of optimizing the data, getting the data mining, learning it, and having the preparing of the database is ready. Let's move on next. What next? You can go ahead with data investigation tools, learning what is the analysis on the data, how the data looks like. And if you are comfortable, it will take within no time, you can have all these predictive tools at your power of your hand. So think of it today while sitting, learning, working, you have an idea to forecast something based on weather. You don't have to worry about, okay, I have to write a code, I have to do the regression and stuff like that. I can drag and drop multiple models at one time from the Palette, run on my data set and have the result and analyze that how accurate am I or how analytical am I on that. Doing the A/B testing, if you are in marketing, we are into the web world, which website, which browser, what is working fine, what is not working fine. Drag and drop. It takes 3 days of code if you go on a person to do that. And I can tell you, I have worked on this for a lot of marketing companies, and even on some of the retailers, it is so efficient and fast that you can do within minutes. Time series, cash flow forecasting, if you are from finance, accounting of that, getting the trends, profit and loss statement, what if analysis, just directly drag and drop here. Predictive grouping, some of you are advanced principal component analysis. You must have heard of it, but never applied it. And you don't have to worry here, because just with drag and drop, you have the output, selecting it and getting the outputs. The spectrum doesn't end here, and I cannot cover full because it's 280 plus tools. And you can create your own with your own logics, because we are code free and code friendly, directly integrated with R and Python. So think of it, you take the first step on the analytics, then your journey is endless with the code way. So that is the way Alteryx works on it. And the spectrum can go up till machine learning, having most of the AutoML models inbuilt for regression and classification, to even text mining, having PDF to image to text, or having a sentiment analysis done. What else do you need? Now you just need your brain to work on it. So here, let's see how Alteryx starts and works on it. Any automation or analytics journey starts with the data. How Alteryx works? I just have an input data tool. I can drag it on the canvas, select any of the data sources I have, 100 plus, Teradata, Azure, or anyone, or even the basic Excel or text or CSV files. And once I connect on it, I can simply sneak the snippet. And even before I go ahead, I can drag my other tools, get the browse. Or if I want to create a filter, I can do that. I want to sort it, I can do that. I want to have a summary of it, I can do that. And if I want to have a filter and then again go on a prediction, well, it's no time. I can simply have a filter tool, go on to the predictive analytics, drag my decision tree, select my target variables, the predictor variables, and get the reports directly. By clicking on run, you can have the outputs within no time. And even before you start, the data analytics power is so high here that you can get an X-ray of your data set to analyze. I have all the fields. I can click and I can see how many values, unique, not okay, and a small demographics of it. So just think, if one tool is so powerful, how a combination of 280 tools can build you to the logic. And if you have any R or Python code, you can just connect to it and integrate it directly. And the limit is unlimited. Why? We are even integrated today with the Tableaus and the Power BI, that if you want a visualization, we can automate that. So concept is yours, the logic is here, no need to get into the loop and just working on. So here, like I have something on the cash flow forecasting. I've just used my data access, the input. I've prepared my data to have the fields which I want by just simply unticking or ticking it, changing the format, renaming it, getting the files ready, combining that into a one data set, and changing the date time format even, which is a basic problematic task sometimes, or having a filter. And then finally, just with the cash flow forecasting tool, I am able to select what target I want to forecast and at what level, monthly, hourly, daily. The granularity is so high. And within minutes, I have the full report built in. This is a built-in report without a coding. I have all my statistical indexes. I have all my reports that I can easily zoom in and see, okay, what are the values? What does the forecast look like? And I can apply and get the calculations running and going directly. So that is the power. And if you want static reports, that is there. You don't have to code or wait for it. You can just go and analyze. The power is yours. That is the way Alteryx works. And similarly, we have assisted modeling, that even with machine learning, it can automatically build the model for you based on business logic, clean up the values, get the values, have the forecast ready so that you can do your assessment that, okay, what is the default looking like? What is the median mode at each granular level for each loan ID? What is the probability of default? I can even work on that. So who doesn't want to do that? Think of it that today, if you are trying to do on another end, you are trying to work on something more, you can have your concepts in live, pack it. You can easily pack this as an analytics app. And once you pack it as an app, People will be able to work on it, see your capabilities, your imagination in hand in there. And you can download the Alteryx directly from the website and have a trial, work on it, and you can see the power yourself. It's not something that is based on, you can say it based on your experience yourself. So that's the power that you have. And happy to have any questions that you have on that note and take you further on drill downs, because tools are endless. Even on the spatial analytics, doing some analytics on geographical areas, you can do that. Contact tracing, some of the companies are using for COVID. For hospitals, for Ministry of Health, we are using that. What else do you expect? Any question with an open mind, happy to take that and give you a response on that, even on the technical side, because we are fully integrated and flexible and agile at the same time.
Thanks, Lavish. So we have already a couple of questions here in our Q&A, but I'd like to start with the one that is related to what you're presenting. So it says from Mac, how customizable is the tool compared to programming, specifically in machine learning?
Yep. So it is quite easy, because I can just with click start my machine learning model, and it can guide me on that. It will read my data in the background. It will tell me the output, and it will even save it in a Python or an report way, in an HTML way, that you can assess the result. And next time when the new data pulls in, the models can be built automatically. Which other tool you can have a model comparison like that it can give you the guidance that yes, the 4 models are built at same time, challenger models, which we say technically, giving the accuracy, confusion matrix, and all that. And next time when you have the new data set, it will run on it. So that's the power of working machine learning on Alteryx. And you can export it to Python and HTML report also for your audit and analytics purposes. Next question, please.
Thank you. How can I join the ADAPT program? This is coming from MJ.
Okay. Well, it's easy. Directly on the community, you can search for it and get the link, register yourself. In the next cohort, you will be allowed, and accordingly you can work on it. So that's quite easy. I can simply type on Google adapter Alteryx and you can look at it.
Yes, it's pretty easy going on the ADAPT program website. I've done that myself, and you just go through the steps there, and it's pretty easy, MJ. Dana has asked, is no programming required at all? I mean, she seems pretty surprised about that. Are the machine learning models pre-built? And what exactly is the role of a software engineer in maintaining this service?
Okay, very good questions. So the first of all, we exist on both the platforms. That is why we are happy to say that we are the unified language of a business. And we believe in end-to-end process automation, analytics process automation. Because we exist on the code free, here you will see all of those things which you do basically are code free in a tools format. And we are code friendly also, because once you are well versed with that and you need to do something more, you can easily go with R, Python, machine learning, AI algorithms directly yourself. So we believe in taking a step by step, but you don't have to change the platform that today I learn Excel, tomorrow I learn SQL, and third day I learn Python. So that is why we exist on both the platforms. On the machine learning side, yes, it is quite easy. And we have auto ML models also that you can just click and it can give up the results based on its own permutation and combinations if you want. And if you want a business direction, you can go on a step-by-step mode as well.
And what would be the role of a software engineer in maintaining this service?
Okay, so the role will be, there will be 2 basic roles. Firstly, have the right logics to build it step-by-step using Alteryx. And second will be to maintain it. You can have your own algorithms, like we see model monitoring. People are having their own algorithms, and there, if the accuracy goes below a certain level, there is a notification, because Alteryx can even do email notification. So you can have a notification that accuracy has gone below the threshold. So you can retrain the model and republish it or have a productionize of it. And not only designer, we have 3 or 4 more products where you can even schedule the jobs. You can even produce it on the live environments and see the data, democratize the data yourself.
Thank you. So I have, well, there's still coming up some more. So Jessine asked, how can I use statistics in data science project?
Statistics and data science project. Well, which kind of statistics you want to do, and we have all of that. So if you want to do certain histograms and plots, we have that. And if you want to use statistics of coding, like, okay, there's an R algorithm of linear regression or logistic, you can do. But the first step is, what is your problem and which model is good fit for it? If you don't know, no problem. Machine learning can even read your data and help you do that. So we have both the side. If you don't know, is it a classification or regression? Machine learning can work for it. If you know, you can directly drag and drop it from the tool palace in the predictive and use that on your problem.
Thank you. Now, Abboud is asking, can we please have an overview of the supported data sources like Azure SQL and SAP?
Sure, that is a unique part of Alteryx, that you can connect to 100+ data sources directly. SQL, Oracle, Adobe, Microsoft Azure, and it is all available on our website and platform. You can see, and even you will be amazed to know we can scrape data from online, from some of the website, or directly connect with APIs as an input, or even API as an output. So that is the spectrum which we live at. So if you have the logic, then there's no limit to it.
Okay, thank you. Computational capabilities. If we have 100 GB plus data, does the models work, and in real time and specifically?
Very good question. Well, Alteryx works on a batch process mode. And if you have 100 GB of data, yes, model can work, but there the platform and the size of your PC and hardware configuration needs to be accordingly. And we have large enterprise large enterprise customers where they're even monitoring each transaction and each call record. So that is a high availability. So there is no limit to it.
Thanks. And any supported custom visualizations? I think you mentioned Tableau, but there was this question here from Baha.
No problem. So there we have both the sides. Like, we have our interactive chart reports if you want some static reports, and we have our own small insight interface where you can do. But if you're looking for more dynamic, and since most of the customers are sometimes even invested on some of the visualization platform, all of them are partners, Tableau, Power BI, and even Click, that you can directly upload and automate the process using Alteryx. We have tools, direct connectors for that. So we have both the side. You can create your own charts using interactive charts, or if you want to publish it into another visualization report, you can do that.
And is the solution cloud-based or cloud supported?
The designer is more for the technical or the developer perspective. This is on the laptop base, that you can install it on the laptop, on the Microsoft device, and you can start working on it. And if you want to publicize it, if you automate, then yes, we have cloud environment also. That's a different way, more technical. We can take it up if you require.
Okay. And can I input my Python or R code?
Yes, that's why we said we exist on both the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are in the data scientist world. This is the major problem. You develop a Python code, then a company hires you just to run that code, not to innovate. Because in the process, we are stuck so much in the business activity as usual that we forget developing. Therefore, Alteryx comes into picture. You can have your own Python code. We are directly integrated with Jupyter Labs, and similarly for R, you can have your own code and you can embed it anywhere in the logics. And next time, when a data analyst or a business person runs it, he doesn't need you to run the code. You can focus on innovating, and he can focus on operating. So that's why we take proud in analytics process automation.
Thanks. So I have two questions. I think these are more for Abboud. From AE. So the ADAPT program is for prospective data scientists, correct? And if so, is there a program for strategy managers?
Thanks for that. No, the ADAPT program is not for data scientists. It's for everyone, right? So I know people who signed up to it. As I said, it's primarily for those who are affected job-wise. They lost their jobs because of COVID, so they can go and retrain themselves. So it's for everyone. There's no restriction on who can or or be a part of the program. So hopefully that answers the question.
I think what he asked was about the strategic manager. So probably someone at that level that wouldn't particularly go and learn.
Yes, they can. They can. Yeah, of course they can. Okay. Yeah, I invite them because, to be honest, Laura, we're seeing people in strategy or in senior leadership. They want to upskill themselves so they can do. I've seen strategy folks. They're building models themselves. You know, that's the future. So it's for everyone. It's for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't asking mainly about the restriction, but about the scope. So can you explain a bit further? Maybe we can expand on that.
So I invite you just go through the program. It talks about there's a syllabus on the community, so you can download the course details and you can assess whether this makes sense to you or not.
Thank you.
But,
yes,
primarily, as I said, you know, I gave some basic examples. You start with, you know, introduction to advanced analytics, data prepping, classification of models, A/B testing, time series forecasting, how you do segmentation and clustering, and so on. And then you go on to enroll us to the Udacity program. So you then at the end of it, you get a nano degree that you can be proud of.
Great.
The nano degree, by the way, is by Udacity. So again, it's a leading, especially here in the Middle East, we're seeing many, even if you take Saudi, we've seen some government agencies that sponsor the employees upskilling through Udacity. So what you'll get is, I think the program is around 130 hours. It is self-paced. It's basically video lectures, mentorship, and some project reviews. And you're going to have to run a project. I think it changes, but one of them could be you have to predict the diamond prices. So you'll be working, you'll be given a large data set, and then you'll be responsible to projecting sales and the price for the next 7 days or so. So again, it's helping you understand the data, the models, visualizing, making recommendation. It's very much going to be practical, exercise-based. Another example could be how to create an analytical data set. Another one could be predicting loan default risk as well. So it's quite a mixed program. One part of the program is teaching you A/B testing on a new menu launch. Again, it's just giving you some practical examples so you can across from different sectors even, so you can really look at different concepts in terms of like linear regression, A/B testing, forecasting, and so forth.
Thank you. There was this question from you at the beginning of your presentation where you talk about the companies here looking for data scientists, employees, and that the restrictions and the visas. So Sheikh Ibrahim is asking, what is the prospect of individuals who would like to contribute while working from home, keeping the travel restrictions and visa restrictions?
What's the prospects of individuals? You mean, to be specific, is the question is how likely is it that they can be hired?
They can be working from home, considering the current restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, almost everyone is working from home and remotely, right? And I think if you look at the second quarter this year when COVID kicked in around March, big time lockdown, a lot of companies were not necessarily ready to set up, but by now, even government agencies across all sectors, we're seeing, or organizations pretty much set up for remote work and I guess remote, data analysis, or you mentioned like hiring data scientists. So that's no issue.
Yeah, Mo shared that probably freelancing could be an option. So I know we have just 1 minute to wrap up and close, and we still have 3 questions. Shall we go through them, Lovish and Abboud, or shall we just get back to them?
No, we're happy to answer all these final questions. Which ones are they? Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Dana asks if Alteryx, does it provide a database service, or does it simply pull data from external data sources?
We are data agnostic. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Lovesh.
We are data agnostic. We don't provide data service. We process the data as per the requirement, but we are partners with almost all the data sources provider, and that's why we can link to almost any source available.
This is key. Thanks, Lovesh, because I can't remember which company today, what sector. No, it's I was speaking. Yeah, I was speaking to a telco today, and they've implemented a major program around the data warehouse project. But then again, they realized that there's another 10 or 15 different data sources that are not in the data warehouse that are relevant to do a complete customer 360 view, for example, right? So the power of Alteryx is really to connect to any data source that's relevant for your analysis, okay? We're not a database company. We don't provide that. We can connect to all the major databases that are out there. And you can also build custom connectors yourself in Alteryx. So we've seen consultants that built, and you can connect to APIs, by the way, right? So that's really important because we have one of the airlines we work with, they subscribe to IATA data, and they need that. They need that to build. What they've done is there was a really interesting use case. What they've done is, I think, over 35 different data sources. They had a pricing team. They couldn't predict how many sold out flights they're going to have by route. And even when all the fleet was on the ground because of COVID, the VP of revenue was building plans or a strategy around, okay, when we're gonna fly back again, which routes are gonna sell out so quickly so we can add more capacity. To do that analysis again required financiers who really are great with numbers, but they're not coders themselves. None of them actually code. So we took them through an upskilling program, and over a 4-week period, they were able to build that model. And that's where they integrate data from IATA and many others, and they can really get a complete view of the routes by competitor, the pricing, the discounts that the competitors are offering, and which ones are likely to sell out and which ones should they really discount, because that has a big impact on revenue. So there's no limit to what you can bring in.
Amazing. Great examples there. So Ratan, thanks. So Ratan is asking, assisted modeling is available with different costs. If the user wants to test, is there any way to get a trial version like Designer?
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You'll get access to the training as well, and we'll get somebody assigned. So as part of how we run our trials, I wouldn't even call it a trial. For me, it's more of a training program, because not only you get the software, but you'll speak to someone. It could be Lovesh himself. That's how we work, and that's how we are committed to the market. So if you download the trial, you're going to get somebody to help you and support you, not just from a sales point of view, commercially, more technically, to upskill you and help you decide what's the best tool to use. Because quite often the question is like, oh, I'm trying to do this, which tool should I use here? We can help you with that. How fast is it compared to Python in running? I can see that question.
Yes.
Well, I can give you an example. One of the recent example, we're working with an investment firm here in Dubai. They have one data scientist. He's trying to predict. He's building a lead scoring model because they try to attract high net worth individuals for big investments in real estate in Dubai. And it took that person about 6 days to develop the first version of the model. I think it took him about 3 hours to do it in Alteryx. 6 days to 3 hours, and it was more accurate.
Wow, that's a huge leap in very effective. So Sheikh Ibrahim, this question may be for Lovesh. Is the system capable of handling unstructured data?
Yes, it is very much capable of handling unstructured data in any format. And once you download Alteryx, in the sample workflows, you can even see that we have some of the sample workflows, and you can download Alteryx starter kits where you can have for different sector, different data sets, different problems that you can solve on. So
It
this is
is
one of the
made
examples.
for unstructured data, I would say. I mean, definitely. This is what most our customers use Alteryx for, right? Bringing in, because it's very difficult otherwise. This is where we can help. Again, we've seen one of the custom, I think it's Saudi Customs, for example. They've built a model in Alteryx. They can point Alteryx to different internal portals and websites, and they scrap the data and bring it in for analysis. So you can turn website data into tables. So it's really powerful that way, and you can do it very quickly. More importantly, you can actually automate it. One of the banks we work with, they want to point Alteryx, or not Alteryx, but they wanted to bring in the Forex exchange rate from the UAE central bank that are published on the website. And they point Alteryx to that, and then they can take that, and then they can have it automated and refreshed, let's say every 2 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, wherever you want. And it's really, really powerful that way.
That's great. So I think we have finalized our questions, and thank you very extensive and valuable conversations we had here. You guys have great examples, and I think the next step would be I'm sharing here the link for anyone who hasn't yet joined our DAIA group in LinkedIn. Please do follow our DAIA Data and Association. An AI association for the Middle East and Africa. We're really trying to build the knowledge on the different data and AI platforms, and of course on the application. And as you can see, Abboud shared really great examples that are in different industries. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the DAIA Talks. Thanks, Lovish and Abboud, for your time today, and for everyone.
Thank you, appreciate it. It was a great pleasure, and I'm more than happy to connect with anyone, any questions, and I invite you to sign up to the ADAPT program, or even download the trial if you want to just have a bit of fun and see how we can help. We're here to help. So have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for the DAIA team for the invite. Appreciate it. It was a great pleasure. Thank you.